G'day guys, welcome to another episode of Comics to Movies and More. We've got a very cool, a very different episode tonight. We're going to count down the last hour of our campaign XCT Infinity. So we have Alfie Coley is going to join us again from Lightmare Studios, and we've also got a special guest that we're going to have join us as well. He's picked up something special on the campaign, and we're going to hope to be able to release and show some images there. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to our show, hit that bell so notified when we go live. We're trying to do more of these, more sessions, more live episodes, as well as come with some crowdfunding tips and different ideas about what we're going to have moving forward in the future. But let me bring on our guests. G'day Junkyard and Alfie. How we going, guys?
G'day.
Yep.
Well,
pretty good. Thanks for having me.
No problem, mate. I'm very happy to have you on. It's countdown to the last hour of XCT Infinity. I know that you've been a big supporter of XCT in the past, so I appreciate you making the time to jump on and count down the last hour with us.
It's a blast just to even be able to read it. So anything I can do, it's just anything I do just to be a part of it and steal your glory.
That's the best way, mate. Just steal someone else's glory and jump in on the end. So yeah. And Alfie, how are you today, man? Hey, how's everything going on your side?
Yeah,
I know you've been pretty busy.
There's a lot happening on the development front. But yeah, it's been a very busy time. But glad we've made it, and it's exciting for the first sort of experience of Infinity Wars in comic form. So it's great that we've made the funding goal, just going to celebrate this and get ready to get it going. So we've got a couple of pieces of artwork now that have been made already for the hero and the custom villains. So the very first frames of that, we can maybe have a look at least Junkyards tonight. We'll see if the other person's available to join onto the cast. But got those ready, which is cool. That's about it. I'm good.
Yeah, it's been an interesting campaign. Something different. I've never done a crossover before. I've never cross genres before, especially doing a Kickstarter. So it has been quite interesting in running this campaign. But it's thank you to everyone who has supported us so far. We're at $6,226 at the moment. We do have 1 hour or now 54 minutes left for you to back, pledge, upgrade, do an add-on, all those type of wonderful things. But we do thank everyone that has supported us. This has now become the most funded XCT project to date. Our last one finished on $6,106. So we're $120 over that, which is fantastic. So anything from here over, we're going to throw in a few extra digital rewards as well that we've got that we haven't announced yet that we'll also throw in. So before we get stuck into the movie we're going to talk about tonight, just say g'day to a few people that are here. Hey Moira, how we going? Sazzy Gal, how we going? Darren, g'day mate, glad to see you here. And Nerds Amalgamated, thank you very much. So so what are we talking about? We are doing Avengers Endgame. So I thought this was fitting, considering it was going to be the countdown to the end of the campaign, that we talked about Avengers Endgame, the latest movie, the biggest blockbuster that kind of ended a huge run of movies. So this was my choice. This was one of my favorite movies in the cinematic Marvel Cinematic Universe. Winter Soldier still beats everything, I feel, but I really enjoyed this movie. I was quite funny. I watched this with a mate, and when we watched the first one, I've read all the Infinity comics, so I kind of knew like how the storyline was kind of going. So after he watched the first one, and at the end of that, when everyone turns to ash and everything is like, what's going on? That can't happen. The good guys always win. Blah 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 blah. And it was really really funny to see that that people didn't know that was kind of going to happen. So, but I thought visually, this was absolutely amazing. The scene with Captain America getting the hammer, all that type of stuff, and then how they brought everyone back. And I've got a good friend that lives in Perth that we when we went and watched Captain America, Winter Soldier, the second one. That he always says, "Oh, on your left." So when Sam said that when he's flying around, I was like, "Oh, that's cool." I really liked that. So, what did you guys think of it?
It's possibly the biggest movie I've ever seen. It's a big crossover. So many different threads from so many different movie series, and they just tied it together so well, putting aside the massive time travel plot and just how massive the scope of the movie itself, just the fact that so many different teams, so many different threads, all those characters, and they tied that all together so well.
Yeah, I've just got to double check. So you're talking about Infinity War or Endgame or both together? Because I know they were kind of made together really, actually in the first place. Yeah, because I was also asking Sean as well. Like, which one are we talking about? Because we got the Infinity War coming up, and then you had Endgame as the
both,
as the title card.
Both, I think together. Both of them together kind of works, and I agree with you, Adam, as you said. Like the way that they used several groups to kind of thread each of their journey was very, very cleverly written. I think I think with so many characters, I was like, how are they going to make this work? How are they going to kind of make you care about those characters? Yes, you know them from other films, but how are you going to make them care in the moment? And the way they split off the different groups and what was happening to each at certain points in both Infinity War and in Endgame, I thought was phenomenal. Like, the writing on this I thought was really good.
Yeah, I was a big fan of both the movies. I'd say that combined they are almost on par with Iron Man 1, which is my favorite out of the whole series, the one that kind of kicked it off, unless you count the Incredible Hulk. So yeah, a big fan of both those movies, and I've watched them a few times actually on both. And yeah, I do like how they've created a crescendo to a 22 movie arc. So seeing all the hints all the way from when Thanos first showed himself at the start of Avengers, you could see that they were building towards something massive, and that they were going to take their time doing it. So it was a beautiful payoff to see that whole thing come full cycle, to see Iron Man at the end of, I'm sure spoiler warning for everyone. But like, at the end of Endgame, him saying "I am Iron Man," having that be the finale of the series, as well as how he finished off Iron Man 1. So it was a beautiful arc of redemption that went on with his with, for example, Tony Stark's character from within Iron Man itself. There was a redemption arc of him as the kind of cocky billionaire philanthropist to becoming the hero that sacrifices himself. Ultimately in the Endgame movie as well. So love the movie. Could talk about for hours. So I'm glad you picked a good one. Yeah, Sean.
100%. I think that was what was really well done in regards to him, really kicking off that Marvel universe. And I loved Iron Man, and that first scene where the helmet flips up and you see I was like, man, I could not I was like, that's Tony Stark. I cannot believe that's really looks like Tony Stark. It felt like Tony Stark. I thought it just blew my mind. So to have that full come to the full end, and there's things I'll nitpick in. I wasn't a huge fan of how his suit evolved and everything like that. I thought that was kind of getting a little bit over the top and that, but that's nitpicking on little bits. But I really liked his story arc, and then also with the inclusion of Peter Parker, because they didn't tell the Uncle Ben storyline in this universe type of thing. I really felt that Tony ended up playing that role for Peter, and then is carried on to Far From Home and everything, which is good. So but I got a good question here from Nerds Amalgamated. Which was more epic, Avengers Endgame or Lord of the Ring Return of the King? Well, we did a episode on Lord of the Rings, was it not last week? So I was unwell last week, but I think it was the week before. And Return of the King was my least favorite out of the lot, and that was just due to the fact I felt like they ended up rushing that one. And Stephen made a good comment saying that trying to keep to that one a year schedule, I felt like that by the time they got to Return of the King, they were really trying to get everything done, where with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they, as you said, Alfie, they really took their time, they really took their care with the universe, and kind of didn't fall into the trap of going, we want to tell this now, and we want to tell this in only 2 films or 3 films or whatever. So
That's right. I mean, they just really embodied that whole idea of just waiting for the goodness to come, and not doing what DC did, right? So they definitely made the right choices, and just created what I think will probably be unrepeated. Like, there won't be movies by the time someone can pull off something similar again. It'll be in like a game world or something like that. But no, very, very, very impressed with what the whole series has stood for, and how much care they've taken across the whole thing. So yeah. Yep.
Yeah, well, I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I'm always chucking a Star Wars reference on each of these shows. But I feel like when they did those next trilogy and then branched off to do Rogue One and Han Solo, I did feel like they were trying to do that Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I think they pissed off so much of their base audience type of thing, especially when someone like Rain Johnson comes out and goes, "Oh man, I didn't even care about the lore. I just kind of told the film that I wanted to tell." And everyone's like, "Are you kidding me?" So yeah, I think you're right. I don't think. I think people will steal ideas, and there will be something maybe similar, but I don't think this will ever be replicated to the way that Marvel has done this ever again. I think you're 100%. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, well, I mean, Kevin Feige has been there from the start, and they really have, even when Disney bought them out, just really trusted one person's vision. And that all these producers and writers and directors from across all the movies have really come together, and everyone's had patience, had trust, and there's been no, let's change idea, let's do this thing now, or let's hurry up and quick get the Batman versus Superman payoff straight away. So they've had the patience and the trust.
Yeah, you're spot on. I can't remember really any Marvel films that have come out where there's either been a director change While filming, we did have the Guardians of the Galaxy episode with the third one and everything, which James Gunn's now kind of come back and do anyway. But I don't think, like, with Han Solo, there was all these rumors about all the trouble with that with Batman versus Superman and Justice League. There was heaps of stuff that went wrong with that, and then the change of directors in Justice League and everything like
and
that.
trying to do it all in one movie, because it was intended to be two movies as well. Like they had actually intended to put it all together. They didn't spend enough years building up the credibility to basically be worthy to do an all character movie, because you have to have that backdrop at the very least, because it's so hard to build real character within a crammed in team up movie. I think Marvel did a great job with that, seeing compared to how it could have been done. And it's interesting to see DC have learned their lesson now, and they are giving that creative opportunity to express itself when enough people want it. So the whole the Joss Whedon, not the Joss Whedon thing, the Snyder cut of the movie is a testament to that. Yeah.
Well, it is funny because they're now doing a Last Jedi cut. So it's going to be 3.5 hours in length. It's going to have scenes reshot with Kylo Ren or Ben Skywalker and Luke Skywalker. It's going to focus a lot more on Ben's training and him coming to the temple and more of that. Him fighting within himself, and also at the very end with Luke projecting himself to the other planet.
Yep.
He actually gets taught that by Anakin Skywalker, and they're actually getting Hayden Christensen to come back and voice Darth Vader to teach him how to project this on. So just giving it a more of a Skywalker feel. So it's quite interesting now with films, and when there is so much pushback from a fandom verse and all that type of stuff, it will be interesting to see how many of these type of films get recut or re-edited or even redone, when I don't think a lot of films, if they bombed or something like that, they just went, okay, we're not going to touch them again, we're not going to spend any more money, where a lot of these failed attempts, especially at IP that can give you a lot of money, they're like, okay, let's go back and redo stuff, not just do a director's cut. Let's actually reshoot things, spend another $20-30 million and actually release almost a different film, but based on the same idea type of thing.
It's phenomenal. I didn't realize that was confirmed. That's some pretty wild news to see that happen. That's a bit of a dream. I personally had to see that happen. So it's amazing to see some people resonate with that.
I listen to all the podcasts, and there's a couple of YouTube things that I saw. There's a guy that breaks a lot of like news and everything. So he was like one of the guys that was saying when Kathleen Kennedy got the boot, he was one of the first ones to break it and everything. So I kind of watch his channel and try and keep on top of stuff. Like I fall in that trap where I don't want to know stuff because I want to go to the film and be surprised, but at the same time I'm like, I really want to know. I really type of thing. So yeah.
Same. But I think that's a great way of actually adding to it without trying to change it. So that's a really smart way of doing it. It's like, okay, we're just going to make it a longer cut. We're going to include more, give you more background, more filler, and make the characters feel more realistic in their choices, or even change their choices in the case of potentially change it. It doesn't sound like they're trying to change the ending. It's just they're adding more. Is that right? Or
yeah, I think they're trying to give the ending more meaning. Mm-hmm. So, I think what they did, again, going back to Avengers in Endgame, like that scene with Tony, like is so moving. You've got the little bit with, and they do it well with multiple characters. Again, you've got that little part with Spider-Man with Tom Holland. then you move on to Pepper, where she's like, okay, well, you can just rest now, and if you're all creatives out there, if you're watching this podcast, you know what it's like being creative. You just cannot switch off that part of your brain, no matter how much you try to relax or whatever. When ideas come to you and things pop into your head, it's like a almost a drug addiction that you have to do. So I love that step. And then they've got the recording then, which he has for Happy and his daughter and everything like that. I'm like, how beautifully that was done. And then you've got Luke Skywalker, who's the main character out of the Star Wars universe. That kicked off the franchise, and you're on a planet by yourself, and it's like, yeah, peace out. I'm just going to float away. It's just that just kind of
night and day. Really.
Type of thing. And look, there was a scene with Leia there, but I don't want to hijack this Star Wars. Well, I mean, we've already done an episode on The Last Jedi, and this is what I was
discussing. We can go back to Marvel anytime. I love the series, love the Star Wars series, but I'm more of a Marvel character for sure. So it's interesting to see where they're going with the whole idea of doing these crossover of universes now too. And this is relevant, I suppose, because of the Avengers thing, is that they're now really looking at doing that multiverse aspect now, and potentially even bringing back the 3 Spider-Men on screen at the same time. So
there's a lot of rumors there, and I don't know if you've heard this, Adam, but there's a lot of rumors there going on that both Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire we're going to sign back on with the next Spider-Man, which would be absolutely phenomenal, because the animated Spider-Verse was fantastic, and if they do that like 1/10 of what that film is, I think it will be a massive hit. But I'm really keen to see not only WandaVision, but which comes out in December now that they've announced, but also with the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, which they said they're going to use to introduce the Fantastic Four, mutants in certain stages, and then kind of giving like that, like being able to pull in also like Daredevil, Punisher from New York, and that was kind of in the same universe, where now they're just like, this gives them that perfect opportunity to sink it all in type of thing. And that's a good segue back into our project and the crossover with XCT Infinity, was that the one thing that we were really passionate about and really wanted to make sure was that when we're telling our story, that there was a legitimate reason for Spartacus to kind of be there, and for Junkyard to be there, and to be able to tell a story that was not just for the sake of telling a story, and was actually believable. So Adam, I'll let you say what you got on the Kickstarter, and what Junkyard is, and where you're going to see him moving forward.
Yeah, well, so I first started writing comics in school way back in 1994, and I had the Great Caped Hero and Dogman, and then I decided, Dogman should have some kids, and way back then it was Dogman the Second, very, very inventive, and Dogman the Third, and more recently I renamed them Junkyard and Pitbull. And Junkyard had always been killed off while young, and then he comes back, and then more recently I've worked on a lot more with that, and so when he comes back, he has extra powers. So now he's a human who can transform into a Dogman form, but now he can transform into kind of like beast mode, and he can also kind of like Quantum Leap, but I wasn't thinking when I came up with it. But he can be teleported to anywhere in time and space in any universe by the higher power who resurrected him and gave him extra powers. So he's usually not aware of where he's going to get sent, and sometimes he might be in the middle of brushing his teeth or something like that when he gets sent, and then. So
wow, it's interesting. It's similar to Spartacus and how he gets pulled away, as people would have seen in the first few panels of the comic. It's interesting that the Junkyard has similar potential to be maneuvered into another universe. So yeah.
I love Quantum Leap. That was like one of my favorite sci-fi shows growing up. And when I heard that they were redoing that, I was like, "Oh, please, no! Can we just leave that alone?" Like, I just don't know how that's going to translate now. Oh yeah, I don't know. But I love that idea of, like, the being a hero or being someone that is thrust into certain situations without even knowing, one, why, or two, where, or three, how you're going to get back in the first place, type of thing. So I was going to say that with you, Adam, you were kind enough to, on the first day, to pledge for the hero reward on our Kickstarter, which I've just chucked up the links in the chat for people that haven't backed yet. If that's something that you're interested in, check it out. But we've been working with Alfie and his team to design up your character, and we're going to see him not only in the Infinity Heroes game, but also in the next issue of Infinity War. So, what made you want to have your character in this series?
Well, for a start, as soon as I heard about it, it's like, I've got to back it, and it was like, because first and foremost, the game and the comic, just awesome, and being a part of that in any small way is exciting. But also having Junkyard, who, because of his powers, can appear in anyone's comic, and to have Junkyard alongside Spartacus, especially, it's cool and it's exciting just to be a part of it. And I think anyone is going to find it really exciting, just the way and the whole setup of the choose your own path. It's just, it's really exciting to be a part of.
That's great, man. It's really inspirational, just getting a sense of your excitement about it as someone who's consuming it. We're the ones creating it, and sometimes you can get sort of immersed in it, right? And it's great just to hear the feedback there. So thank you for that.
There's always that fear, like, this is my 13th Kickstarter, and I'll tell you what, there's always that fear. I'm like, is this the time when people go, mate, your work's shit, give it up? Like, I don't know why, but there is always that small fear I have every single time I run a Kickstarter, even after so many that I've done, is that I don't know, until I hear that validation from people like Adam, until I start to see those couple of pledges coming through on that first day, I always get that sinking feeling going, okay, what happens if this doesn't resonate with people? What happens if this doesn't kind of connect with people? Like, where's that going to kind of leave me and leave this creative project, something that I'm so passionate about and something that I'm super excited for. So it's great to have someone like Adam kind of reinforce that, and from day one as well. Like, I don't know, Adam, if you were watching that day when Alfie was on, and we refreshed the screen, and Alfie's like, what of those pledges are gone, Sean? Like, the one that you haven't even talked about yet, that's gone. It's not even there. Like, that was exciting for us, and I hadn't done a live launch like that before. It was something new that we tried with this one, so that was kind of us, being real, just reacting in the moment to seeing something like that. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I was hoping to get it on the first minute, but unfortunately, I was 15 minutes in.
Yeah,
So
I
you
was
made it.
really, really desperate to get it. Really desperate.
Oh,
Shane was messaging me going, "What time you're launching? Because I'm gonna be number one, and I need 2 comics." So he's like, so he was hitting me up straight away, going, "When are you launching?" And I'm like, "Oh, we're going to launch it at 10 o'clock." And he was like, and I usually, this is a secret that I usually don't tell people. I usually launch it maybe a minute or two actually before the time that I say I'm going to do. So if it's 10 o'clock, I usually launch at like 9:58, 9:59, just so I know that it's all working prior to sending out all these links and everything, then work out that something's gone wrong with Kickstarter. So like Shane must have been like waiting for it to reload and had gotten it within literally that first minute type of thing. So I've got a good question here. Nerds Amalgamated said, I have a question. In terms of crossovers, what's the biggest danger you have encountered doing crossovers in general? I'll let you answer this first, Alfie, and then I'll answer.
yeah. So one of the biggest things we've experienced is having our own audience really prefer well, I didn't expect this to happen actually, prefer our IP and just not wanting other universes to come into it. So even though we've been building this universal arc since we made our first game as which was called Omni Dota Evolved, and even it's in the title, Omni actually comes from omniverse. So it was this idea of having this multiverse that includes all other multiverses. The omniverse is known, and I believe that it's a common vernacular. It's the universe that covers all of universes. It's a real word. And so we've set ours in the omniverse with that kind of not just possibility, but it's baked into the universe. It's a story about this multiverse of all these different cultures and different factions that got science fiction and fantasy tropes all kind of colliding and interweaving. And it's an interesting phenomenon to see our own audience say, "Hey, we don't like these Star Trek guys." I was like, "What Star Trek? Who can hate on to Star Trek?" Seeing that come into their indie universe, but apparently there are purists even of the Infinity Wars multiverse that just didn't like that idea happening. Now it was a minority for sure, but that is an interesting sort of kickback to see that come through, and it's been good since the like minor kickback we had on that. Most people are okay with that. They like the idea of these universes coming together, and I also think that the idea of crossovers are starting to become more of a mainstream thing as well. I mean, we're seeing it, with the Marvel universes. So I think it's become a bit of a mainstream thing, and it's interesting because my influences and stuff include shows like Sliders. You remember that show way back?
Love that.
Yeah. So that was one of the big things that got me into the idea of a multiverse. But yeah, that's probably the only difficulty we've seen come up. I mean, there is obviously the IP limitation, especially if you're working with someone like CBS. It's hard to do like lifetime IP crossovers, which means you're putting this effort into something that might not be able to be out there anymore. So there's that. But yeah. How about yourself, Sean?
Yeah, I think for me, I think the biggest thing that I've always kind of been scared of is just probably not having the same either work ethic or I've worked with a few different people on projects, not crossovers, and you just kind of they don't come to the party, or their work ethic isn't just the same as yours. And I think the biggest thing that I found with you straight away was that you were on the ball. You got back to me always very quickly. If anything, it was me that was dragging my heels this time around. So that's always, I think, my biggest fear whenever I'm doing a crossover or something like that, is that that other person that I'm dealing with is kind of going to leave all the ball in my court or type of thing. But also, I just want to to make sure that when I did it, that I did it for the right reasons, that I was excited about doing a crossover, that it fit in with the characters and everything that I did, and that when you first came to me, it was something that intrigued me straight away. You were quite professional in your approach, and I think sometimes when people approach you, they kind of sometimes don't know your universe. So they'll start throwing out ideas, and you're like, that just doesn't even fit into my universe, or they haven't done the research, like they haven't even read your series or something. I think that makes it quite difficult. Like that's the one thing that I made sure when I looked at Infinity Heroes was I actually looked and did the deep dive video, had an idea of what the universe was at, who was some of the main characters, how it was going to fit, and that type of stuff, rather than just going, oh well, this is my idea for a crossover, and you go, oh mate, that's just like got nothing to do with where we are or us as a brand or anything like that. But at the same time, now that I've done it once, I think I'm much more open to doing it with something else in the future. So I needed to dip my toes in the water and kind of go from there. So as always, the first time I think is the hardest, letting your baby go, so to speak, and let someone else play with your baby. But I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed letting you kind of you had a lot to do with the script and everything, and I'm usually the one that does that. So it was nice to kind of go, okay, well you have a play. You've got some characters in here. What is a good scenario that kind of fits in with this? So yeah.
Well, I'm glad your first experience was a good one there. Do you mind just muting yourself there, Junkyard? Just so I can hear a bit of feedback coming through. That's all good. Yeah, so I'm glad you've had a great time having that experience. I too have had that great experience with you. We've had some hiccups along the way for sure, but it was how we navigated those that was really telling, and was a really wonderfully handled, and I do appreciate how cooperative you've been and how you've been able to work things through and find solutions to issues as they've come up, and it's been great, and we've made the thing, and that's great. Also when we're actually creating the product, it's been great to sort of work with you as well and say, well, actually this would be the case with Agent Coil, for example, a character that's pretty near and dear to me. It was really fun, man, and looking forward to the next one. But definitely keen to get this one going and stuff. So, and speaking of which, part of getting it going was getting the hero created, the custom hero and the custom villain. So, Junkyard, are you happy if we do a bit of a reveal here? I can show my screen. Does that work for you? And Sean, is that okay? Good time for it?
Yep, that's definitely. So what I've done is I've just quickly shared our Kickstarter. So we're at the moment we're at 6,251. So we've actually had a couple of pledges while we've been live. So thank you very much for those that have backed. We've got a few other people on Crypt Collectibles. G'day guys, hope you are doing well. Nerds Amalgamated said, ooh, sliders. Yes, we like the show and we like the burgers. And Nerds Amalgamated said, also, Sean, I like how it's episode 21. You picked the movie that has made MCU become a grown-up. Yes, that's right. So it is quite interesting. Like this year has been quite a different year in regards to creating, and Kickstarter's been the platform that I've used to kind of really pivot my business, and the support that we've been shown by the people that watch this podcast, by people that I don't know, Adam, yourself, like I've only met you a couple of times in person. It's totally blown me away, especially with everything that's going on to have the support that we have. So I'll let you take it away, Alfie, and show some of this cool new hero that's going to show up in the coming issues.
Yeah, so I'm just going to share my screen here. Screen that. Share screen and application ring. There we go. So here's Junkyard.
Oh,
there you go. So you can see he's in mid leap and mid super speed. Did you want to talk any more to it there? Because you were working with the artist closer than I was.
Yeah. So he doesn't specifically have super speed, but because of the muscle tone that he has when he's in Dogman form, that he can run faster than any human alive. But
that's pretty super speedy. But yes, he's definitely not. He's not like ultra speed, like running through time or anything like that. He's not going to beat the Flash to the supermarket.
Not even close.
Yeah,
he could.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just love the art on it. They've done such a fantastic job that it just really captures, and I'd say it's iconic, really, in the way that it captures Junkyard. And I love the little detail of his tongue hanging out as he's running, because he's just completely loves it. And I'm really impressed with the artist and all the art in the game and all the art in the series. It's just beautiful, and it really, I think, is so exciting just to be part of that.
Yeah, I love the art in the game as well, but the animation, man, always tips me over the edge. It's like once you get this animated, like I can remember when I got the like Spartacus back in the first GIF and everything. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I was like, showing my wife, and my wife's like, oh yeah, whatever. And I'm like, no, look, he's actually moving. Like, the blood, there's blood splatter, and
I love that too.
Yeah. So, and we will mention that we also had another amazing backer from the US that backed the villain reward. So unfortunately they weren't able to make it onto the show tonight. We're hoping that they were going to make the show on tonight, but I think Adam scared them away because Junkyard's such a beast. So but no,
they will have their time to shine, and in fact it might even be a good idea because we'll have a lot more time to coordinate it. It was a bit like, let's try and get these guys on the show in the last couple of weeks, but if we've got more time to plan and stuff, we could definitely do an opening match, because it'd be great to see both the heroes facing off against the hero and the villain facing off against each other in game with their full set of cards. It'll be a pretty cool event. So looking forward to that.
That's the other thing I love about the game is that Junkyard's getting a special deck, but anyone can put their own characters in, just because of the awesome custom content part of the game.
That's great. I'm glad. Again, I'm always enthused when I hear somebody. I think you're one of the first, probably the second or third reaction I've been able to personally witness of that particular feature, which I've been visioning out since 2013. I think I did like a little wallpaper that had like these custom heroes of like Batman and Gandalf and Sub-Zero, and like my dream roster of heroes on like an Infinity Wars in 2020. What's it going to look like by then? And it's interesting that whilst it isn't fulfilled to the degree I wanted it to be, I wanted to have licenses with Marvel and DC, and we all aim for the stars and hope to get the moon at least. Then I at least can do that now anyway. Personally, obviously, I don't want to encourage anyone to be putting their heroes, unlicensed heroes, out on the internet. But in your case, you got full license to your hero, so I look forward to seeing you stream. And in fact, if I may, even if we've got time, we can do it for 5 minutes. We can put Junkyard into a bit of a deck and see him like have a little bash around. But we'll see what we're doing. We're going for time and stuff.
I love that as well, because with certain video games, you can do what they call customization, but really you're restricted with, the faces they give you, the hair color they give you. So although it is customization, it's not true customization. So to be able to actually put up whatever image you create, whether you draw it yourself, whether it's an image of your favorite character or not, and be able to assign values or that to them is really kind of cool, because that's what kind of sucked me in. Was once I started playing with the Spartacus deck, I did lose a little bit because I just refused to play with anyone else, and soon realized that I actually need to use the other heroes while I'm playing the game if I actually want to win. But I was having so much fun playing with the XCT deck that was great. So yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to make 2 more custom decks with 2 of my other characters. So then I'll just play with all 3 of my. Because that's the other thing I love about the game, is that you pick 3 decks, and each deck does different things, and then that just really adds to the strategy. And you don't have to know thousands of cards, how all the cards work together. You pick 3 decks that will fit your play style, or just the 3 characters that you love the most, and away you go.
I found when I just picked the ones that I loved, that didn't work out so well. I had to be a little bit more strategic.
Well, you might have got lucky there, Junkyard. You want to be like, yep, okay, I got the right ones on the first go. Yeah, that's good. So there's 13 minutes left on the build, right? Is that what we're up to?
Yeah,
12 minutes to go.
Yep, which is crazy. So we'll just shout it out again if anyone hasn't backed the campaign yet and would like to. We've got 12 minutes left on the countdown. So once again, thank you to the 129 backers that we've had, which is a phenomenal a backing count. There's a lot of people here. I know Moira, Darren, Shane, or Adam, yourself, all have backed the Kickstarter. So thank you very much. We've been super pleased with the way this has been received, because, as we said, we don't know. With it being a crossover between 2 universes, whether people would be, super excited about that. So we think that we can really build on that moving forward now with, a little bit more time. We know what we're doing. We know how to work with each other, all those type of things. We can only get better from here. So thank you to everyone. If you do have any questions in the chat, if you want to ask Alfie or myself any questions, or even Adam about his character Junkyard, please chuck them in the chats now. We've got about 10 minutes to go. So we will count down right towards the end. I do love Shane Pledge for everything, which is great. Shane was great. He posted about this so many times on Facebook. Like, I was every morning I got up, he had posted it, and I was like, oh man, thank you so much. Thank you for doing that. He's like, man, this is purely selfish. He goes, I really want to this to be made. So he goes, it's purely selfish. I'm like, oh, well, thank you anyway.
Thanks anyway. No, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for doing that, Comics. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, if I was rich like George Harrison, I'd be dropping 5 million on this, like he did with Life of Brian.
Geez, I love that movie too, Life of Brian. I'm going to be whistling that before I go to bed now.
Yeah. Seeing if I can, there we go. Seeing if I can get Junkyard into the game. Do you have a hero that you'd like to replace him with? And we'll put some Spartacus up as well. Did you have a hero you'd want to replace?
I don't know.
All right, let's
I've
go
mainly
start
played
again.
with Coil because Agent Coil's awesome.
And then we'll go for Zia for some demons. And so, did you want to? We can replace Coil with Junkyard if you wanted to.
I reckon put him along with Coil.
Oh, with okay, great. So we'll just replace.
Yeah, it's got to be Spartacus, Coil, and Junkyard, I think.
Okay, great. In that case, we're going to go to here and we're going to swap over Vicia for maybe Alita, because Alita's got a whole bunch of beasts. And then we can go into Alita and swap her. Oh, art. Let me just quickly double check where we have placed Junkyard. I'm going to grab that and go like that. And then go back into the game. I can go to reskin, and go to this. Let's see if we can find Junkyard Hero, which I think we can. Whoa, he's zoomed out as heck. Hang on, what have I done? Okay, so the zoom in is not having. It's having fun today. Let me see if I can zoom in some other way. Maybe we won't. I'm going to stop sharing for a sec and bounce back over to you guys because we suddenly got a beta concern. So maybe I need to try a different version of the game. So just to give you guys background, and we did have a question before that said, "Well, why is the game having stability issues?" Well, the game is currently in closed beta. We're looking to go into open beta soon because we've resolved a lot of the basic concerns of the game, but you still get like occasional bugs and stuff in the game that make things a little tricky. So I will see if I can get Junkyard in the game. It'd be cooler if we had the hero, wouldn't it?
That's it. Well, we've just had another pledge, which is fantastic. So we're at $6,256 and 130 backers. So my last campaign got to 144. So we've got 7 minutes. If we can get 14 more backers, that would be phenomenal. But 130, man, that's super cool. So
pretty phenomenal. Very happy with that result. So yeah. Thanks everyone for all your backings. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so we're down to the last six minutes, and I don't know if everyone knew, but during the campaign, we did go back and add the XCT Infinity deep dive video. So if you do want to know a little bit more about not only XCT but Infinity Heroes, this deep dive video is really, really good because it's uses Jason and Ben, both lore masters, talking about both the universes. So if you're wanting to know more about each universe and how they kind of come together, this video is really good. So and just to remind people that this will we've done some of the pages, but it's not totally completed. So we'll keep you guys updated. But we're looking at fulfilling in February next year. So we'll speak to Alfie about whether we can get those game codes out to you guys for the back at those levels a little bit quicker from that side. But the comic won't be ready, but it will be shipped out in February. And hopefully by then, with the world of COVID, our shipping isn't taking so long. So I do know that a lot of backers on this one from our previous campaigns did take a little bit longer to back, and that was because it did take a while for those rewards to get to them. So I was about halfway through this campaign when they got them. So but we've got down to the last 5 minutes. I've just thrown the link up into the chat one more time, but thank you everyone that's here watching, and yes, we super appreciate all the support. So
yeah, that's great. So Nerds Amalgamated says, will there be factions like Warriors of Light or Special Forces or the Brotherhood of Shadow? Are we talking? So maybe you could speak to that, perhaps, Sean, or what's your? Here's an idea. Will there be factions? Nerds Amalgamated. What's in relation to,
No, I don't think so. I think we're just telling Spartacus' story with several other individual heroes or characters within the universe. I don't think, especially in a mini series, I don't think we can kind of deep dive into that too much.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there.
But that's definitely something that he said, like Mortal Kombat. But that's something that we could definitely look at at a later date. We want to make sure that we tell an interesting story, see where that goes, and especially with the fan interaction. Like, look, we're looking at 4 to 5 comics in this mini series, so about your 100 to 120 pages of a story. But we're also open if this kicks off and people really like it, and that there's a fan base there and they want it to continue. There's that feedback. Well, then I've probably put Alfie on the spot here, but I'm open to it if that's what people want to kind of see. So.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to the support, right? And it's interesting that we've gone the pathway we have with the storytelling that we have. It's kind of bringing the XCT characters into a new experience. So unless the choices happen to end up taking us to a space where we can explore factions, then we probably won't. But it is possible, and it is possible thanks to you guys. So it's great that we've been able to bring in these kind of fundamental ways that we've allowed the players to sort of step in and contribute, both not just financially, but also from a design perspective. That's what what you've done with Junkyard there as well. So yeah, if it makes sense, guys, then give us something that makes sense to do it with, and we will definitely consider it. We'll look at all options and ideas. So for sure.
And that's what I think is great about having something like this, and what's really excited me is having that fan interaction. We're actually putting the control of how this goes, how far this goes, and how many stories we tell in the consumer's hands, in the fans' hands. Where we're saying to you guys, well, if you want to tell an individual story off this character, well, then you need to kind of vote, let us know, back the project, so on and so forth. And that. So this is the first issue. If we're able to build on this and continue to build on this, and there is a good story and a reason for us to do that, depending on where we're going, then anything can kind of happen. And I've always been even like that with XCT to a degree. I've always kind of listened to the feedback that I've gotten, and where people have said, oh, I wouldn't mind seeing this or what happens here, and kind of take that on board and go, okay, well maybe I need to change what I was thinking and adapt, type of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent. And I just figured out what I did wrong actually before, so it's on me. I'm just going to quickly share and show.
Well, we're down to. I'm going to share just quickly.
Oh, yeah, please
Down,
focus on the
down
thing we're all here
to the
for.
last. Well, here we go. We got 50 seconds left.
50 seconds.
I've never done this, but supposedly when you watch it count down like this, it gives you like like a celebration type thing.
Like,
I don't know. I've never done it before. So,
$100 pledge in here, but we don't get to do that. We don't get to see the number.
Actually, I don't know. I don't know whether I need to be. I don't know whether I need to be logged in to do that. So here we go. I've done it.
There we go. So
see what happens.
Here we go, guys. Thank you, everyone, for your
Thank you very much, everyone. 130 backers. I like that. That's a nice round number. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah! Woo!
Oh, that's great. They do have a little animation. That is cool.
That is super cool. I've never seen that before. So
neither have I. That's great.
That's awesome. That's totally worth it. So thank you again, everyone. That has been amazing. Did you want to do a little play before we wrap up?
Yeah, maybe just a quick one. Hang on a second. Yard. Go. change the name. So you got to do byline soon as well. But let's just do a quick celebratory thing here. Just showing off some of the XCT, because that's what we are here to celebrate today.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at that.
Look how good that looks.
Yeah, the blue tiger there as well, waving his tail. Let him go. And I'll swap out.
I actually wondered what you were going to do with that one, with the tiger. I was like, oh, what are they going to do with that one? And when I saw the tail, I'm like, how cool is that?
Yeah. Anyway, I think we'll leave it at that anyway. So before we go to the next thing, we're at 11 o'clock, but it was good to be able to see all the characters in there. So yeah, I just wanted to thank you for coming on to the cast as well, man, and looking forward to seeing a playoff between your hero and the villain in the game. And yeah, I'm so glad we made it. We made it across the line, dude. How do you feel, Sean?
I'm pretty excited. I was a little worried there for some time. I don't think I've ever run a Kickstarter during this time before, and I didn't realize it's like the most busiest time for Kickstarter. So on average, there's about 200 projects on comics projects on Kickstarter any one time, and this month there was almost 300, which is 1/3 more. So, and that's not uncommon for the September October period. So I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, maybe I need to do a little bit more research sometimes in regards to when I launch and that. But again, Adam, thank you very much for coming on. We appreciate your time. Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap things up?
Well, regarding factions, and the game is perfect for that. So people can set 3 characters on their team and 3 characters on the opposing team, and just come up with their own thoughts, their own factions, their own ideas. And as you get to the voting on what's going to happen for the next issue, that's when people can bring that out.
Definitely.
Yeah. I love having someone on that's played the game and actually has kind of immersed themselves in the universe. That's fantastic. So
and that is one of the big reasons why we do it, right? I mean, it's awesome. I'm sure you also want to see your ideas sort of come to life, and that would be a massive thrust for you. But it's such a privilege and a joy to sort of see you guys who have gone and put your money where your mouth is in support of it, and you're also happy to sing the praises of the game and the comics. So I'm very grateful to the community and to Sean for you coordinating this whole thing, man. Thanks a lot. I know it's been a bunch of stuff to coordinate and get things going, but we've made it through. So congratulations to all of us.
That's it. Awesome. Well, thanks again, Adam, and thank you for everyone else that has backed. Thanks, Elfie, for doing a lot in regards to the preparation of this Kickstarter, like the videos, and giving me a lot of direction on how I do my Kickstarter videos moving forward. I think I'm going to have to up my game after this one, but I'm really grateful, really thankful, and really excited about telling this story moving forward, and it's going to be a busy end to 2020 for me as well. We're going to launch another campaign in a few weeks, which is an alt history Spartan comic called the Talus of Sparta, which is kind of cool. And then we have a awesome R-rated cyberpunk series that we're going to launch in the middle of December with actor Dan Furigal, which is a Spartacus actor, so which is kind of cool. But more information on that soon. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you everyone who has backed our Kickstarter, and I hope you got something out of this show, and I hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you next week. See you later, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thank you all.